Building a Claude skill is you telling AI exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. So you're about to see a Claude skill I built for a real client that not only does research on the prospect, but writes a personalized email based on that research. Most people are using AI just like a very fancy search engine.
Dude, what the hell are you talking about?
And they ask, they get an answer, and then they move on. And that's not a Claude problem, that is a workflow problem. It's never because of the tool, it's because of how the tools are used or not used. And most importantly, AI did not change that, because with AI, you're gonna fail 100 times faster and 100 times harder.
Bring it on.
After building business systems for a decade, I can promise you there is no bigger opportunity than AI, and I know every single person on the internet is telling you that right now, but what they're not telling you is why. I also made another video about this, which I call AI is like Ozempic, and so I dive into why AI is an integral part of building your business in this tech world, not just because you want to make your workflows easier, but because you actually want your business to run smoothly. All right, so I'm going to show you a live demo of exactly what this Claude skill looks like. Now, this particular skill is for somebody to write personalized emails based on public profiles for Zillow and for LinkedIn. But as you're watching me do this, I want you to think about how this applies to your world, because people write personalized emails all the time for cold prospecting, and you want them to be personalized. While this might not be exactly what you need, this could definitely be the building blocks of changing how you work forever in the future. Before I show you this workflow, I have to just establish that one of my 9 tech laws, which if you haven't seen that video, that'll be linked below, is that AI does not replace you. It simply replaces aspects of your workflow, because you already have a workflow. You already have a way that you're getting your work done. So the way that the internet is talking about AI is like, oh, it just replaces people, when really a better way to get started with it is to find out which aspects of what you're doing are replaceable. And slowly that becomes a system that includes you but doesn't replace you. You do the parts of the workflow that are the most important, that you yourself and your expertise show up for. Because this workflow is going to show you how to get a personalized email draft in a matter of seconds, right? But for you, if this was, say, a client proposal or an SOW or even a statement of work, it could do the 90% up front and you just do the 10% on the back. How much time is that 90% going to save you? And that's where this AI opportunity is really not being taken as seriously as it should, because like I said, everyone is trying to replace everything, when really if you look at how do I replace even half of my workflows, that's going to make a huge impact on how many hours you're having to spend doing the same work over and over and over again. But the key is that AI has to know what to do, when to do it, and most importantly, how to do it. So that's what building Claude skills is. Building a Claude skill is you telling AI exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, with very clear, precise instructions, examples if you have them, and everything in between. So when you are going to use your Claude skills, then it already knows what you're expecting to see on the output, instead of doing one-off prompts that are kind of the Wild West of answers. All right, so this is a real Claude skill that I built for a real client. And first, what I did was I asked it for a high-level overview of what this Claude skill is meant to do. So when I use the magic words, what it's going to do is it's going to research the real estate agent that I have given it, and it's based on first name, last name, email. It's going to look for that agent's public LinkedIn and Zillow profiles using their name and email, and it's going to pull background, brokerage, current years in real estate, and any certifications that they may have. And from their Zillow, it's going to look for their specialties, their geographic focus, client testimonials, and their transaction history. And it's going to specifically look for family real estate transactions, because this client sells family real estate certifications. So if the profile can't be found, then I also instructed what Claude should do in that case. And as I said, Most importantly, I also instructed Claude what to do if there is not a public profile for them to pull from, because I don't just want AI running around all willy-nilly so that it is pretending like it knows what's going on. If it doesn't have the personalized information it needs to write this email, then I don't want it to pretend it knows. I want it to tell me it doesn't know. And that's another thing people very much forget about workflows and automations in general, is not just how it works when things are going perfect, but mostly how should it behave when things are not going perfect. And I swear, that rule alone will save you so much of a tech headache. It's not even funny. So, step 2, after you have collected the personalized information, then you're going to write a personalized email with what it found, 3 or 4 paragraphs, and I did give it some example emails to build off of as a template. And then also I wrote some rules of the email where, what to focus on, what to personalize, what to highlight in terms of these personal emails. So as you can see, there is an exact trigger phrase, which is the run this skill, and it includes first name, last name, email. As you can see, there is a fully prepared personalized email that of course I can then go in and edit to my liking. So let's say that this was my business. I actually could just say to Claude, please send this email, because it's already connected to my email account. So all I would actually have to do is say, yeah, that looks good, send it along. But the most important part of this workflow is that me, the human, who has the actual brain behind the operation, right? I am actually reading this email and saying, yes, this looks good, or no, this doesn't look good. As you can see at the end here, it says, want to tweak anything before we scale this across the list? Because what it's asking is, since I gave it many emails, it's going to run through a bunch of emails doing this exact thing, making personalized emails for everybody on the email list. So what this is really doing is it's cutting the fat from the workload. It's cutting that extra research, because AI can do research for you. AI can draft an email for you. And then when the human comes in and is part of the workflow is the most important part, where you actually read the email, you insert your personal touches. I'm not telling you just to blindly use AI, click send and see what happens. I am telling you, have AI do the grunt work, and then you come in and you actually finalize. I'm telling you, actually read the email before you send it. And what this really does in your world is it takes an hour task and turns it into a 20-minute task. What this does is it takes a long workflow and shortens it. It diminishes the amount of time that you're having to spend, because you're coming in at the crucial moments of any workflow, just doing the MVP tasks of it. And like I said, the most important part of this workflow is when the human comes in and says, yeah, that looks good. Or, no, let's fix this. All right, so if you are ready to build your first Claude skill, don't worry, I have got you covered, because you could go play around with it yourself and you could probably get some success. However, if you want me to help you build your first skill to make sure that it's not only doing what you want it to do, but also contemplating the things that you've never thought of that might come back and bite you in the butt with hindsight, because I have seen that over the last 10 years. So many smart people. This is not about people who are not smart. The problem is, when you haven't thought through how tech systems work, there's inevitably going to be an amount of information that you don't know. So what I did was I went ahead and built a done with you guide, walking you step by step through building your first Claude skill. There's also another thing you get to do, which is build your AI hit list. So what it does is it helps you work through all of those tasks and get them on a list, so you know exactly what AI should and most importantly should not be doing. So if you watched this and you thought, hey, that's totally something that happens in my business, then get the Claude starter kit. The link is down in the description, down in the pinned comments. More importantly, if you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and hype the video. This is a small channel, and when you hype these videos, that tells the YouTube algorithm that it should get out to more people. And I'm telling you right now, this demo was worth its weight in gold, because after 10 years of consulting with businesses in technology, it's not because you don't know, it's simply because you don't know know how. So I'm building you guys the tools and the assets so you can do this on your own, done with you virtually, because that's how powerful AI is. I can't wait to see what you guys build. Make sure you come back and tell me in the comments. I'm so excited. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you on the next one.